Well, hi, hello, and how you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to the Newsroom, this fun little thing we do almost at the beginning of the week, where we get together, we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try to make our way through this crazy thing that we call life. My name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative. Sometimes I am called the beau in the chapeau. On occasion, I am referred to as the kid in the lid, sometimes called the common man with common sense. But in this moment, as always, above all else, I am your host. We are on Rumble, we are on X, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you would not mind, if you do not care, please do me some favors as always. If you are not subscribed to my channel on YouTube and Rumble, please go ahead and do so. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Also, while you're at it, for tonight's live stream, whether you're on Rumble or whether you are on YouTube, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment. You can leave all kinds of comments. Please be nice. But anyway, the reason I ask you to do those two things for tonight's live stream is this. Believe it or not, it really does help push this channel and this live stream out in the algorithm, and people who maybe have never seen us before get a chance to check out what we're doing. Also, share the link around with your friends, hit the bell for notifications, and let's do this thing we do. All right, let's get down to business. Let us see who is in the house this evening. Good evening, Miss Pate. I am ready for the news. Well, we'll do our best to bring it to you, and glad to see you, my dear. Good evening, Miss Gypsy. Glad to have you on the electronic front porch tonight. And Miss Lana from the great state of Ohio in the house tonight. Three lovely ladies. Oh, my goodness. Good to see all you good-looking girls here hanging out with us. And yes, the Wingnuts are fully assembled this evening. We have WWG1 is in the house tonight. We got TBAs in the house. They've been dropping memes like the madmen that they are. And we got a nice little crowd starting to settle in. We got a bunch of folks over there on X. Now, I will say this as always, for you folks out there on X, don't be shy. Tell us who you are. Let us know who you are. Drop your name. Tell us. And yes, by all means, don't be shy. If you've got the ability to drop a comment, hey, it'll show up. We'd love to hear from you. And yes, WWG1, I will go ahead, since you have brought this up, I will put this out there right now. Ladies and gentlemen, I have confirmed this evening by way of electronic mail that we have a guest coming to the electronic front porch next Thursday night. Dr. Robin McCutcheon, noted economist from Marshall University, will be on the live stream. We'll be doing a session of chatting on the porch with her. And I told her in an email that we had talked about getting together around the middle or the tail end of February, and the last time we had talked. And I thought, well, let's see how this thing out in the Persian Gulf is going to shake out. Well, now it's shaking out and has shaken out. So I think now's about as good a time as any to have her back on, because we need to start focusing. And I say we, and I don't mean just this audience. I mean, we, the American people, need to start focusing on and concentrating on the question of, okay, economically, what do we need to start preparing for? Because, all right, gas is now touching $4 a gallon locally in a lot of places, which that means diesel is going to be running about $5.50, maybe $6. So when do we start feeling this coming down the pipe? I mean, don't get me wrong, we're already feeling it at the pump. So when does it start getting into everything else? What does this do for inflation? I mean, there's a whole myriad of things. And I got a feeling Dr. M, along with her fellow economists, have been watching all these circumstances with a certain amount of combination of things: horror, fascination, etc. And I'm dying to get her perspective from an economist's standpoint on not just the micro, but also the macro. Where are we at with this? So this is going to be a load of fun. But yes, the good doctor will be here next Thursday evening, April the 9th, 6 p.m. So plan to be with us. And if you got questions for the doc, I mean, hey, you guys read the headlines as much as I do. Hey, bring your questions. We'll put a few of them up there and see what she's got to say about it. So, all right, with that, um, let's get down to business. And as always, we will start off with some memes. And as we're trying to figure out the current world in which we live, and more particularly, if God forbid it all goes up in a nuclear holocaust, which again, God forbid, you know, what's that going to look like? Or maybe it's better to say, what is going to set that off? Well, it could very well be that it's not going to start because of Iran, won't start because of Israel, might not even start because of the United States. I mean, it could very well be that this is how the world really ends. You know, yeah, this could be it. This could be it right here. One wrong move of the paw, and the whole world blows up. I don't know. We build all these safety precautions in. We think we're keeping ourselves from nuclear holocaust, and all it takes is one black cat, and the whole world ends. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness me. Hello, small time. How you doing out there, my friend? A fist bump in your general direction. Perhaps we should not ask the doc about Christy Gnome's husband. Oh my Lord. I'm going to be honest with you. I've seen the headlines, and there's part of me that's like, do you really want to talk about this? I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Vox Populi. If you, the audience, let me know in the chat. You guys want to talk about this or you want to get into it? Okay, let's have some fun. If you want to get into the subject of Christy Gnome's soon to be ex-husband, jeez. Woo! I tell you what. Yeah, you had to go there, didn't you? Had to go there. Goodness me. All right. I'll put it to you this way. If you, the audience, want to get into this subject, I know I got a story out of the UK Daily Mail. I can pull it up real quick, and we just either laugh at this, cry, shake our heads. I don't know what. But anyway, if you guys want to get into it, let me know in the chat. We'll talk about this story about Christy Gnome's soon-to-be ex-husband. Anyway, moving on with our memes for the evening. There's a lot of question about the cuteness of cats, what have you. And you know what? Hey, well, now that is true. You've got a point there, Gypsy. You've got a point. If what is being alleged against Christy Gnome's husband is true, yeah, Oh, you haven't heard about this? You haven't heard about this yet? Okay, all right. We're going to put this to a vote right now. It doesn't matter if you're on X, it doesn't matter if you're on YouTube, it doesn't matter if you're on Rumble. If you want to talk about this story, then give me an F in the chat. Give me an F in the chat if you want to talk about this story. Because like I said, there's a UK Daily Mail article. I can pull it up real fast. But to answer your question, in shorthand, wait, you haven't heard about this either? Really? Okay, all right. We're getting F's in the chat. We are getting F's in the chat. Okay, even Summertime's weighing in on this one. Okay, all right, that's it. Vox Populi, y'all. We're gonna suspend the memes for a moment. Give me 1 second here. Let me find the story. One moment. Okay. TBA and Lana, you said you hadn't heard about this. Well, it's now all over. It's all over the news. This has been out there for, oh gosh, going on at almost 12 hours. So, you know what? Here you go. From the UK Daily Mail. Secret double life of Kristi Noem's cross-dressing husband Brian, or Byron, Brian. Okay, we'll go with Brian. The pouting busty bimbo photos and the trove of explicit messages. Article by Ben Ashford and Josh Boswell. We have the following. Well, oh, seriously? Oh, come on. One moment, please. Let's see. Hang on. Oh, for heaven's sake. I said I was going to find this fast, but I can still do it. Hang on. Hang on, guys. Okay, we'll do Fox News. We'll do it that way. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. Fox News. Headline. Kristi Noem, Trump's respond to shocking cross-dressing photos tied to her husband. Article by Alexandra Koch. We have the following. Donald Trump reacted on Tuesday after newly released photos appeared to show the husband of former Deputy of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem cross-dressing in private messages to a number of women. The images were allegedly part of a trove of hundreds of messages between Noem's husband, Brian, and 3 women obtained by the Daily Mail. Hang on 1 second. I got a hot link right there. Maybe they're going to take me to a... One second. Now, same place as before. Anyway, back to the Fox News article. The father of 3 appeared to be pictured in hot pink underwear, wearing a skin-colored shirt with large faux breasts worn underneath. The New York Post reported the photos were taken while acting out a bimboification fetish, which focuses on hypersexual, exaggerated physical appearances. And that is a picture of her soon-to-be former husband in the background. Another image appeared to show Byron Noem posing with large fake breasts in a tight light blue t-shirt while making a kissy face. Trump told the Daily Mail he did not know about the photos and was surprised the Noem family confirmed their authenticity. They confirmed it, Trump said. Wow, well, I feel badly for the family if that's the case. That's too bad, Trump told the outlet. I haven't seen anything. I don't know anything about it. That's too bad. I just don't know anything about it. It's unclear if anyone else inside the administration knew about the alleged photos. Yeah, please believe me. Wait a minute. You're wanting to get down to this? Okay, hang on a minute. I might be able to do something about that. Let's see what we have here. Because you know the New York Post is going to run something with this. Let's see. Have we got them here? Oh, yeah. Okay. Here we go. TBA, this is for you. And let me tell you something. Just, oh, Lord have mercy. Here's one photo of the soon-to-be former Mr. Kristi Noem. Let's see. What else have we got here? Okay. Definitely got a thing for hot pink. Oh, my Lord. What the? Yeah, with the Easter Bunny. And notice she's holding a dog. Let's see. That's when they were young. That's when they were young and younger. Yeah, but going back to the pictures, yep, there you go. There you go, folks. Now, Gypsy, I hadn't thought about that, but you bring up a really good point. How did this pass a background check before Christie was even put up for DHS? That is a great question. Unless somebody just sort of like turned a blind eye and went, photos, I don't see no stinking photos. Yeah. 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 Well, and small time, this is a really good point too. I mean, she's no longer Department of Homeland Security Secretary. She's out of that job. The blackmail potential is like off the table because the pictures have been released. So yeah, that's a good point too. Hey, you asked for this, may I remind you, sir? You asked for this. Uh-huh. Yeah. You asked for this. So if you're gonna bleach your eyes, that's your own business. But just remember, um, well, there's always that possibility too. You know, yeah. AH, you make a really good point. Maybe that's why. You know, well, and again, see, this is why I say you guys are the best audience on the internet. Okay, because this is the kind of thinking, that just makes you. This proves you guys are just that smart. For all we know, maybe she was being blackmailed for the better part of a year. I don't know. But again, I go back to Gypsy's question. Did not somebody in the vetting process not know about this? Really? Seriously. And if they did, were they the person doing the blackmailing? If she is being blackmailed or was being blackmailed, I don't know. Maybe they slipped them through and said, okay, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, to go back to TBA's original, I live under a rock. Tell me what's going on. That's what's going on. That's the whole story. True. True. Yeah. You know, there are all kinds of really good questions being asked here. And I'm not just saying this to suck up to you, my audience, but yeah, I mean, these are all perfectly legitimate questions. How did she get through a background check and a vetting process and this never came up? Did the person who was in charge with vetting her know about this stuff and used it as blackmail? Uh, if it wasn't the person in charge of the vetting process, was she being blackmailed? And if so, by who? I mean, it's just there's all kinds of questions here. You know, uh, really, really. Oh, come on, man. We got a war going on in the Middle East. We got economic troubles at home, and you're telling me that you don't think that a story about fake boobs is not going to cause a ruckus? We need some kind of a distraction. Maybe we ought to thank this guy for providing the American people something else to talk about other than a war. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, that's the whole of what's going on, my brother. And if you want some more about this story, I'm going to drop the link in a chat on both sides as always. Um, there it is on the Rumble side, and there it is on the YouTube side. That's the story from the New York Post. So what's the comic relief scene in this movie then? Maybe my calling it comic relief is a bit over the top, but yeah, you kind of get the point. Ugh. Okay. Oh Lord. Oh, we're going here. Good grief. Good grief. This is called a bimbo fetish, similar to that shop teacher in Canada with the humongous boobies. Oh, okay. All right. Good point. Anyway, that's the background story. That's what's going on. So And speaking of relationships between men and women, have you ever had that moment with your significant other that, you just can't, you're thinking that he ought to be able to understand what you're saying, and you think you ought to be understand what she's saying, and y'all just can't, whatever. Well, somebody came up with a really good meme to describe that feeling. Now, don't tell me, that this hasn't happened to you one time or another. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I mean, y'all know, y'all know that this has happened at one time or another. Look, some if the occasion ever allows at TBA that we actually meet each other, man, the stories are going to be amazing. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. But, for those ladies out there that get frustrated with the gentleman in their life because they think that, they should really understand what's going on, but yet it doesn't happen, there are other ways to make your point. And this is a good example. One of the latest videos from our friends, the Harrisons.
Know it. Like no one would look at your body type and be like, wow, that guy really works out. Like you've been doing that 6 months, you've been hitting the pavement, you do those squats, you do those crazy like rope climbing things, you come home with your rug burns and you don't have any muscle mass to show for it. And I think that's a real flex. I think the fact that all of your health stays on the inside and nobody knows what you're working on behind the scenes is more of a flex than anything. Like, because on the outside, you just look like, like you would crumble in the face of a mile run, or like a box jump or something. But 6 months of CrossFit and you're doing it.
You know, um, yeah, I think she made her point. I definitely think she got her point across. Ay, ay, ay. Now, gentlemen, lest you think that there is no way that you get into a significant spat with your significant other, and there is no way, that you can ever get even. I got one for you. And this is compliments of WWG1. And gentlemen, if you're looking for a way to embarrass your significant other, maybe you ought to consider some or all of what is in this next YouTube short.
Ryan, I have to go to work. Take this off now.
I can't take the wrap off. Someone has to do it.
It makes this sound.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Here we go.
Now, I'm sorry. That last one is funny as all get out. Take a bunch of those tubes, put them up the tailpipes of your significant other's vehicle, and then let them pull out the driveway with it. That would be priceless. Absolutely priceless. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. Now, um, Wait. Just because I suggest this for you guys doesn't mean I'm going to do it. What do you think? I'm nuts? What do you think? What do you think? I want to like come back on here with a black eye or something? Are you crazy? No, I'm not going to do that to the lady. Are you out of your gourd? Oh my word. Oh, goodness me. Just remember, guys, sometimes in life, everything is a matter of perspective. And if you don't believe me, check this one out. So just when you think you're cold and tired, just remember, it's all a matter of perspective. Okay. All right, we got a couple of more memes, and then we'll get into some news stuff tonight. Let me see. Yeah. Well, actually, we'll go straight to this one. The others I'll save for Thursday evening. Yes, we're going to do a live stream Thursday evening, 7:00. So just to let you know up front. And this one's kind of apropos, given that given what's going on in the world, and given the fact that we are coming upon not just Easter, but Passover. So for those of you that are becoming more religiously minded, or yes, we are doing a live stream this Thursday, April the 2nd, 7 p.m. And there's a reason for that. I know with the Easter weekend, people are going to be traveling. They got relatives coming in from out of town, a lot of stuff going on. I thought, you know what, as opposed to brunch on Saturday morning, that maybe it would be better if we do a Thursday night live stream. And that way, if you guys have got stuff going on this weekend as it relates to, the Easter holiday, your families, what have you, it gives you a little more free time. So we're going to do a live stream this Thursday night at 7 p.m. But anyway, for those of you that are religiously minded, or maybe you're considering coming back to religion, or maybe you're thinking about changing your religions, well, then this video is for you. And enjoy.
So you want to be a Jew?
Yes, Rabbi, I do.
Are you in some sort of legal trouble?
No, my girlfriend is Jewish. I'm getting ready to propose.
Are you circumcised?
I'm not.
Boy, it's going to be painful.
I'll do anything for her.
We don't take a lot of new members, but if you can answer 3 questions, I'd be willing to work with you.
Okay.
If Catholics have the Pope, who do Jews have?
Larry David?
Name one of the unwritten 10 commandments.
Thou shalt never pay retail price.
Who makes the world's greatest brisket?
Martha Stewart?
What?
I don't know.
The correct answer is your future wife or mother-in-law.
Such a schmuck.
Bubba, you're going to get yourself killed.
I panicked. Ever since I started this conversion process, I just have this anxiety I can't get rid of.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That is the most Jewish thing I've ever heard.
Really?
Welcome to the team. So you...
Boobala, you got to calm down. What are you going to do? Gosh. Anyway, as always, much thanks to WWG1, much thanks to TBA, much thanks to everybody who has provided memes for the evening and shorts and stuff like that. And by the way, you might be out there on X, you might be out there on YouTube, you might be out there on Rumble saying to yourself, hey, how do I get in on this act? What do I got to do to put a meme up there or a YouTube short or what have you? Well, hey, you see this right here? That is my X handle. Please feel free to DM me or tag me on X with your idea, be it a meme or maybe even a story idea. By all means, hey, the host reserves the right to use or not use whatever you contribute. But more often than not, if you send me something, I'll find a way to get it up on the screen. So, hey, if you got a meme, if you got a YouTube short, if you got a story idea, you got an article, shoot it my way. Let's take a look at it. Let's have some fun with it. Okay. Let us move to the first compartment of the train and give an update about what is going on in the war between the U.S. and Iran. And I found something that I thought was pretty useful. This is from Newsweek magazine, and it's a bullet point to what has happened on day 32 of the war. And it goes like this. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth said Iran, quote, will shoot some missiles. We will shoot them down, acknowledging Tehran's remaining capabilities while claiming U.S. forces are, quote, closer than ever before to winning. Hegseth revealed an unannounced weekend trip to the Middle East, saying he saw an urgency to finish the job among deployed troops. Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Daniel Kane, confirmed the U.S. is now flying B-52 bombers over Iranian territory, a sign that Iran's air defenses have been heavily degraded. General Kane also said U.S. strikes are now targeting supply chains feeding Iran's missiles, drones, and naval production to choke off its ability to replenish its weapons. President Donald Trump continues to pressure Iran to end its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Alternating between threats and claims of diplomatic progress, Iran denies substantive talks. Trump criticized allies for refusing to support the campaign, saying they must learn to fight for yourself and go get your own oil. Fighting entered its fifth week as Iran maintains tight control over the Strait of Hormuz. A Kuwaiti oil tanker caught fire near Dubai after a drone attack attributed to Iran. Gas prices surged past $4 a gallon, up 35% since the war began, becoming a political liability for Trump. The Gulf states reported more missile and drone attacks. Debris injured civilians in Dubai and Saudi Arabia. Schools in the UAE have remained on distance learnings until mid-April. Israel's defense minister outlined plans for mass displacement in southern Lebanon, saying Israeli forces will hold territory up to the Litani River as fighting with Hezbollah intensifies. Civilian deaths continue to climb. At least 1,574 people have been killed in Iran, 1,230 in Lebanon, and dozens across the Gulf states. Israel has reported at least 17 deaths, and the U.S. toll stands at 13 service members. 2 UN peacekeepers were killed Monday in Lebanon. The 2 that were killed were from Indonesia. So that's a quick roundup of what is going on as far as we entered day 32, more particularly the second month of this conflict. Now, as far as these negotiations that are going on, as you guys have heard, that part I'm not sure of. That's just sort of most of everything that they had there to kind of answer that question, WWG1. Most everything they had there, they could have culled from any other source because most of that was out there with various other places, AP, Reuters, etc. So I think they just kind of pooled everything together and went with it. But, I could be wrong about that, but that would be my general guess. Now, as far as these negotiations that are going on, we being the United States, claim that we've handed the Iranians a 15-point plan. Trump says, yep, they're agreeing to most of it. The Iranians, for their part, are saying, we have not known what they're talking about. We are not talking to anybody. We are not engaging in negotiations with the U.S., etc. Well, something's got to be happening. And we mentioned this gentleman in our last few conversations, Vali Nasser, who's a professor at Johns Hopkins, and his specialty is the Middle East. He put a X post out and said the following: Iran has asked for guarantees in any deal with the U.S. Word is that the Pakistani foreign minister is going to Beijing to get a guarantor for the potential deal. Likely that it is Iran's condition for talks with the U.S. And the foreign minister would not be going to China without having floated this idea with both Washington and Beijing. No guarantees of China biting, but if Beijing is now the front line in the diplomatic effort. Okay, well, that's out there, not necessarily confirmed by anyone, but I thought I would pass it along. Let's see. Well, that's a good question. That's a real good question. And to be honest with you, I don't know. I know that there was I have heard it said by one person or another that Trump likes or feels like the current speaker of the Iranian parliament is someone that the U.S. can deal with on a long-term basis. We'll see. We'll absolutely see. So don't know. I've also heard that we're supposedly backing the son of the former Shah, which to me seems a little bit crazy because nobody over in Iran wants the guy. So who knows? Now, on some other news fronts, and I'm setting something up here, so just stick with me for a second if you wouldn't mind. This is from NPR, And I'm using this story to bounce off something else. Headline: Israel invades Lebanon, displacing more than 1 million residents. Now, this story is from yesterday, probably around 7 a.m. in the morning. As Iran enters the Iran war enters its second month, Israel has invaded Lebanon to drive out Iran-backed Hezbollah, and a humanitarian disaster is unfolding as over 1 million Lebanese people are displaced. Now, I bring this up, I guess, to sort of set up a discussion, or maybe just something that's kind of bugging me. Now, there's a general war going on in the Middle East. I'm sorry, they can call it military conflict, they can call it military operations, whatever. The U.S. can call it whatever it wants. It's a war, okay? Mostly being fought in the Persian Gulf between Iran, the U.S., and a handful of others, which, by the way, Yemen supposedly entered the war today on Iran's behalf, launching missiles into Israel, among other things I've heard about. But anyway, there's a general war going on in the Middle East. And one of the frustrations that some people have had with what's happening is, well, it doesn't seem like the Israelis and the Americans have the same goals in all this. Now, in one sense, that does bug me. In another sense, I also kind of acknowledge the obvious. Name for me anybody who's ever hooked up together in a war as allies that had exactly all the same objectives. I mean, it's possible that someone could come up with a historical example, but I think even doing so, they'd be hard pressed to do it. Okay. So in one sense, it doesn't necessarily bother, it does bother me a little bit that we don't have the same objectives, apparently, the U.S. and Israel. On the other hand, it doesn't really bother me that much at all. So when I get word that Israel has invaded southern Lebanon, do I like it? No. Do I acknowledge the reality of it? Yeah. Israel has their own objectives. Israel's going to do what Israel's going to do. Be it good, bad, otherwise, I don't know. But they're going to do what they're going to do. Now, many people have argued, and I think you can make a really good case for it, that the Israelis, what's the expression I want to use? Talked us into this war. That with a lot of pressure over the years from Bibi Netanyahu and other people, that, finally Trump gave in, saw a set of circumstances, didn't like what he saw, and said, you know what? They're going to launch an attack. If we don't launch an attack, our people are going to get killed. Let's do it. Okay. So you can make a pretty good case that the Israelis talked the Americans into this whole thing. That being, and yes, Israel has launched troops into Lebanon. Now, here's the part that's really sticking in my craw. Okay. According to Channel 12 News out of Israel, and again, take it for what it's worth, I haven't necessarily independently confirmed this, but this is what is being reported, that if the U.S. launches a ground operation into Iran, Israelis troops will not take part in the combat. Let me read that again for you. Okay. Channel 12 out of Israel reports that if the U.S. launches a ground operation in Iran, Israeli troops will not take part in the combat. Okay. Now, first of all, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. Okay, because as TBA has used the phrase ever since all this got started, in the fog of war. Okay. In the fog of war, a lot of things are going to be reported that may or may not be true. Okay. But let's just work for the assumption for a moment that this one is true. Okay. that the Israelis are flat out telling everybody, hey, if the U.S. launches, some kind of military operation in Iran that involves ground troops, we're not going to be a part of it. Okay, excuse me for a second as I vent. I have a serious problem with this. I do. I have a serious problem with it. Now, from what I have heard, the argument that's being made is, well, if we send troops over into Iran, that's going to stretch our supply lines out, and we're going to be so far, logistically out of position. Excuse me. We're over 5,000 or 6,000 miles away. What the heck do you think our logistical supply issues look like? You're worried about stretching your resources between your troops and your logistics. Seriously? We're fighting a war that probably the current government of Israel talked us into. We're thinking about sending in ground troops for some serious operational assignments that have a high risk of getting some or a lot of our kids killed. And you're not going to put up one single solitary Israeli soldier to back us up, to help us out in a war that you talked us into? Now, again, working from the assumption that this is true, that the Israelis have said, no, if you guys launch troops into Iran, we're not going to put any Israeli troops on the ground with you. Working from the assumption that's true. I'm sorry. I don't know about you guys. That just sticks in my craw. It really does. It just sticks in my craw. How dare the current government of Israel talk us into this thing, and then when we're talking about putting our kids' lives on the line, you're not willing to pony up. Well, now, and this could be a reason. This could be a reason. Because I'm sorry, the IDF right now is going through all kinds of trouble. I mean, you've got cities in Israel that are being bombed into the next area code. You have the head of the IDF saying, if we don't put on a military conscription right now, our forces are going to implode. Which, by the way, he is on record. We talked about that last time we got together. So, I mean, that is possible. But, I mean, even beyond that, our troops are fighting a war to help you defeat another nation that you feel is your enemy. And then when it gets down to it, when the rubber hits the road, we're going to put our troops on the line and you won't send anybody. I know that Donald Trump is never going to do anything to stand up to Benjamin Netanyahu, or at least if he is, we'll never know about it. But I'll tell you this much. I don't know who the next American president is, but the next time Bibi Netanyahu gets a wild hair up his rear end about, wanting to start something in the Middle East and looks to us, try to help him out, I hope somebody remembers back to this day and says, well, when you put your own skin in the game, then come talk to us. It's your fight, not ours. Anyhow, I mean, and matter of fact, take it one step further. And I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but Steve Bannon has started an international incident. Okay. Well, this is another good point too. They're in Lebanon and Gaza. Can they really be stretched that far over Iran? I mean, and that's a fair point. I get it. But still, it just burns me that if what is being reported is true, if what's being reported is true, we're going to put our kids on the line potentially, and you're not sending anybody. Oh, really? Really? Now that's interesting. That's really, if you got a link for that, I want, and I'm not saying you're wrong or anything else, but if you got a link for that, I want to see it. I'll put that up on the screen right now. And again, if you can't find it real fast, don't worry about it. But I definitely would like to see that information. and it wouldn't surprise me at all because I'm hearing the same thing coming out of the U.S. troops. There are, I mean, currently, I'm hearing a lot of reports, and maybe you guys are too, that there are a lot of filings for conscientious objection by current troops that are en route to the Middle East, particularly among the Marines, filing conscientious objection notices saying, hey, we're filing a conscientious objection. I don't want to fight. So I'm hearing the same thing. So this wouldn't surprise me at all. But anyway, Steve Bannon started an international incident to kind of go along with what I'm talking about. Did you guys hear about this? And if you're wondering who he's going to be talking about, he's referring to Benjamin Netanyahu's son. So that sets up what's happening next.
Let's have the Arabs. I want Arabs. I want UAE, MBZ, who's the best they got over there, and he's got a real army. It's not huge, but they actually know how to fight. Karg Island. There's your objective. Go, and throw in a couple of Qatar princes. Let's throw Saudi princes in there too. Get them out of London. Get them out of the casinos and whorehouses in London, and get them back to the Gulf. Get him here. Netanyahu's kid down in Miami. Turf him out tomorrow. Where's DHS? We need him. Get him, throw him out, get him back there. Put a uniform on him. Let's have him in the first wave.
Now, what Bannon is referring to, if you have not heard about this, Benjamin Netanyahu's son is not in Israel right now. Let me say that again. The prime minister's son, Benjamin Netanyahu, is not currently in Israel. Now, I got an article here, and this talks about Bannon's comment. He made that comment the other day on his show, The War Room, on the Real America's Voice Network. I got a story here from the Times of Israel. Quote, throw him out. Excuse me. Throw him out. Steve Bannon calls for Yair Netanyahu to be expelled from the U.S., sent off to war. Steve Bannon, the influential pro-Trump commentator, calls for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's son, Yair, to be kicked out of the U.S., where he's been living, and sent to fight in the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran. Bannon, who previously served as a senior advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump, is now a leading voice in the pro-Trump MAGA movement, says on his podcast that U.S. Homeland Security agents should expel Yair Netanyahu from his home in Miami and put him on the front lines of the war. Quote, Netanyahu's kid is down in Miami. Turf him out tomorrow, Bannon says in a clip that began circulating online yesterday. Where's DHS when you need them? Get him and throw him out. Get him back there. Put a uniform on him. Let's have him in the first wave. Bannon makes the comment while calling on Middle East countries to get involved in the war, and specifically a mission to capture Iran's Karg Island, which Trump has weighed doing. Quote, let's have the Arabs. I want the UAE. They actually know how to fight. Karg Island, there's your objective. Go. And throw in a couple of Qatari princes. Throw in the Saudi princes in there too. Get them out of London. Get them out of the casinos and the whorehouses in London. Get them back in the Gulf. So, yeah. Yeah, Benjamin Netanyahu's son is not in Israel right now. Oh, really? Okay. Now, I mean, I don't know how the internal politics in Israel works, okay? But you cannot tell me that Israeli parents whose sons are in the IDF, maybe they're currently in southern Lebanon right now, maybe they're in Gaza, maybe they're wherever in the Middle East. These parents, their sons and daughters in some cases, are out there fighting and dying to defend the nation of Israel. And then these parents hear about Benjamin Netanyahu's kid living it up in Miami, Florida, thousands on thousands of miles away from the fighting. And I mean, I tell you what. Well, see, that's a good question. what I have read so far is that he lives there. Yair Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu's son, lives in Miami. Okay. And maybe, again, I don't know how the military conscription process works in Israel. Maybe he's done his time in the Israeli Defense Force and he's no longer required to be in uniform. Okay. However, even if Benjamin Netanyahu's son is not required to be a part of the IDF currently, it's not helping his dad out very much for the son to be seen photographed in Miami, Florida, relaxed, tanned, no stress in his life, whatever, while sons and daughters currently in Israel are fighting and dying in this war that Yair's daddy got started. The Netanyahu family is not doing themselves any favors. Oh, by the way, slightly related. I was driving back this weekend from seeing The Lady, and I was listening to something called the BB Files. It's a documentary that Tucker Carlson and his people put together. Runs about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I still got part of it to listen to. Oh, kids, you want to find this. Okay. Go out online. I went out on Rumble and found it. Just type in the BB Files. Okay. People are putting it on their Rumble channels. You can probably find it on X, find it anywhere. You really need to listen to this. If you want to begin to understand a lot, and again, this is from the perspective of journalists who've covered him in Israel. Okay. If you want to begin to understand Benjamin Netanyahu's thinking, I really, really recommend to you this documentary that Tucker Carlson's folks put together. Again, it's called the BB Files, BIBI Files. Okay. Check it out. It is good stuff. All right. One last we got a couple other little updates related to the current situation. President Trump spoke from the Oval Office today, just giving an update about where things are going. And he's pretty well convinced it's almost over. This is the president from today in the Oval Office.
Nothing to do with that. What happens in the Strait, we're not going to have anything to do with, because these countries, China will go on, they'll fuel up their beautiful ships and they'll leave and they'll take care of themselves. There's no reason for us to do it. We hit them hard. We got rid of a lot of the radicalized lunatics along the Strait. But if they want something, but I would say that within 2 weeks, maybe 3, we're hitting them very hard. Last night we knocked out tremendous amounts of missile making facilities. We, as you probably read or wrote, we knocked out. Excuse me?
Pardon me for interrupting. The U.S. will be gone or done with the war?
I think with 2 or 3 weeks.
Not 3 weeks. If it is
We'll
3
leave
weeks,
because
then it will
there's
be
no
past
reason
the
for us to do this.
deadline.
Look, problem with the Strait, a guy can take a mine, drop it in the water, and say, "Oh, it's unsafe." It's not like you're taking out an army or you're taking out a country, or they can drop it, or you can take a machine gun from the shore and shoot a few bullets at a ship, or maybe an over-the-shoulder missile, small missiles. That's not for us. That'll be for France. That'll be for whoever's using the Strait. But I think when we leave, probably that's all cleared up. Today, I heard tremendous numbers of ships were sailing through. We're negotiating.
Okay, that's the president. He thinks in 2 or 3 weeks this thing is over. We'll see. Now, one last thing. We're going to change subjects. Do you guys remember, and give me an F in chat if you remember this. Do you remember maybe about a week or so ago, Harvey Levin of TMZ put out a challenge and said, if you currently I have heard this very thing, Gypsy. I've heard this very thing, which if that is what is being fed to Trump, that's a disservice to him intellectually, and it's a disservice to the country. But again, anyway, Harvey Levin of TMZ put out a challenge and said, if you see members of Congress, or more particularly members of the U.S. Senate, on vacation while we are fighting this war and while you're paying for these high gas prices, hey, send us the picture, send us the video, we'll put it up. Well, everybody's favorite senator from South Carolina, Lindsey Graham, has now been caught in the clutches of TMZ. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but we've got the following headline here. Living in Fantasyland as government shutdown drags on, by the TMZ staff. And yes, there's our favorite senator from South Carolina. Lindsey Graham said he was doing business in Florida and just made a short pit stop at Disney World. But based on this new photo, he's a full-blown tourist. Someone who answered TMZ's call to shoot photos and videos of members of Congress on vacay while thousands of federal workers go unpaid shot this pic showing Lindsey strolling around in the, quote, tangled area of the Magic Kingdom on Friday night carrying a bubble wand. The area is like a fantasy land, which is on the nose. Congress is living in one, with each side blaming the other for its failure to reach a compromise that would reopen the government, believing voters are buying what they're selling. As for the bubble wand, an eyewitness tells us he was holding it for a little girl while she was in the bathroom. Okay. TMZ posted a pic over the weekend of Lindsey chowing down Sunday for brunch at Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary Resort. Graham told TMZ he was at a meeting Friday with Trump officials in South Florida, and he went to Orlando afterwards to meet up with some friends. He said, quote, I voted 7 times to fully fund the government, call a Democrat. As we said Sunday, Democrats and Republicans are to blame. They couldn't reach a compromise, but still booked it out of D.C. For spring break. So, the senator from South Carolina is having a good time down in Florida. Now, he says he's back in South Carolina now, doing the people's business, yada, yada, yada. But he is asking for one more thing. And this is from thehill.com. Graham to Trump. Wind down the war, wind up efforts for a peace deal. Article by Ashley Fields. We have the following. Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican South Carolina, said Monday he's encouraged President Trump to, quote, wind down the Iran war and wind up efforts for a peace deal, while noting that it would take an agreement from both parties to resolve the conflict in the Middle East. Keep it up, Mr. President. Wind down the war and wind up efforts for a historic peace deal, Graham wrote in a post on social media platform X, responding to Trump's Truth Social post about serious discussions with what Trump described as a new and more reasonable regime in Iran. Guys, why do I get the feeling Lindsey's got an election coming? Oh, that's right, he does. The South Carolina primary is in June. Now, could it be, my friends, that Lindsey Graham, one of the biggest proponents of this military mess that we find ourselves in, could it very well be that the good gentleman from South Carolina wants peace and tranquility as he goes into a primary, which will determine whether or not he goes forward for his party's nomination to return to the Senate? Strike me cynical if you wish, but yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. He helped talk Trump into this, he and Netanyahu, and now, as opposed to face the voters while all this is going on and possible body bags coming back to South Carolina with dead sons and daughters of the Palmetto State, he wants this thing wrapped up fast so he can go into re-election. Hey, Lindsey, we're not forgetting, and we ain't forgiving. You're one of the people that helped get us into this mess, and you should be made to suffer the consequences. So for y'all down in South Carolina, hey, find somebody else. He's not worth it. He's just not worth it. Get rid of him. Anyway, all right. Well, it's top of the hour. It's 8 o'clock Eastern. Let me do a real quick break and a commercial, and we'll move on to our next topic. My name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative. It doesn't matter to me tonight if you're out there on X or you're out there on YouTube or you're out there on Rumble. First of all, thank you for being here, and I genuinely mean that from the bottom of my heart. So while you're here, do me some favors. Number one, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and do so. Number two, hit the thumbs up tonight on the live stream and leave a comment. It really does help push this thing out into the algorithm so that people can see this who maybe have never come to this channel before. Share the link around with your friends. And finally, hit the bell for notifications so you're always aware when new material is coming out, be it a video or a live stream. All right. And having talked about all that really sad and depressing news about the war, we do need a little funny to help set up where we're going next. And with that in mind, I hope you guys enjoy this interlude of humor. Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. What the heck is going on here? Where's my sound?
Blick.
Oh, okay, there it is. All right. Yep, the gremlins are in tonight. Here we go.
What do you call a person that refuses to fart in public? A private tutor. Hey, Mom. What do you call a 500-pound woman with a yeast infection? A Whopper with cheese.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
Hey, Mom.
She knows it's coming.
Why don't chicken wear underwear? Because their peckers are on their face.
God. Please don't.
Hey, Mom.
Mm-hmm.
What do lesbians do while they're having their period? Finger paint.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's awful. I forgot about that one. I apologize. I apologize.
Hey, Mom. If a blackbird has baby blackbirds and a bluebird has baby bluebirds, what bird has no babies? A swallow. Hey, Mom.
Okay, yeah, I kind of forgot some of those jokes get a little blue. My apologies. Just trying to find a good transition to get us out of the war talk and get us into other items. So, yeah, it's a little bit, a little over the top. Sorry about that. Forgot some of those jokes were in there. Anyway, moving along. Have you guys heard about the news coming out of the Tyler Robinson trial? Oh yeah. That lady's reactions are absolutely priceless. I agree wholeheartedly. Have you guys heard the news coming out of the Tyler Robinson trial, or maybe better to say the trial of the gentleman accused of murdering Charlie Kirk? Now, I'm not trying to mince words when I rephrase that. I'm just trying to help people understand the context. Tyler Robinson is accused of being the murderer of Charlie Kirk from last year. His trial has now started out in Utah. And, oh, Gypsy, you know where I'm going. You know where I'm going with this. His trial has started. Motions are being made. Pieces of evidence are being submitted. And something dropped yesterday that if this is true, the prosecution has a very, very serious problem on their hands. Now, remember, one of the reasons that Tyler Robinson was arrested and charged is that he had a rifle in his possession. They found a rifle that belonged to him, and everybody's making a case, hey, this is the rifle that shot Charlie Kirk. There's just one little problem. Headline from the UK Daily Mail: bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by suspect Tyler Robinson, new court filings show. Article by Melissa Koning, who's the U.S. reporter for the UK Daily Mail. We've got the following. The bullet that killed conservative commentator Charlie Kirk may not match the rifle used by suspected killer Tyler Robinson. A bombshell new court filing states. Robinson, 22 years old, is facing capital murder charges and a potential death sentence for Kirk's murder at Utah Valley University on September 10th. But his defense attorneys now argue that the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, quote, was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson. The defense team may now offer the ATF firearm analyst's testimony as exculpatory evidence, they said in a motion filed on Friday to push the preliminary hearing back at least 6 months, Fox News reports. The motion also notes that DNA reports filed by the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the ATF will take some time for the defense team to analyze because reports indicated that several different DNA samples were found on some items of evidence. Quote, as these cases indicate, determining the number of contributors to a DNA mixture and determining whether the FBI and the ATF reliably applied validated and correct scientific procedures is a complicated process which requires the assistance of various types of experts, including forensic biologists, geneticists, system engineers, and statisticians, all of whom must review and evaluate several different categories, the filing states, according to Deseret News. Robinson's attorneys added that they have received about 20,000 electronic audio files, videos, and written documents that prosecutors have presented as evidence in the case. The defense team is devoted and will continue to devote significant resources to processing discovery, including identifying materials not yet received to inform readiness for the preliminary hearing. However, the defense team is realistic, and the comprehensive review required to determine what is missing will take hundreds of hours. I'm like you. I think it is still in pretrial, so I may have misspoken. Okay, so right now they're just trading motions and evidence. But I want to go back to the very top of this article. And if this is true, the prosecution's got a serious problem. His defense attorneys now argue that the BATF&E was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly owned by Robinson. Now, again, if this is true, the prosecution's got a serious problem. And good evening. How are you, my dear? Mwah. Good to see you. Yeah. This is a problem. This is a big problem. So now you got a situation where it may very well be, and again, may very well be, that the bullet that killed Charlie Kirk didn't come from Tyler Robinson's rifle. If that winds up being the case, and I'm the prosecution, that's a big issue. Big issue. Okay. So take that for what it's worth. Another piece of interesting news related to the Tyler Robinson trial. And, the timing of this just strikes me as a little bit, I don't know, not necessarily off, but just, I guess maybe off-putting. From KUTV News, Washington County Sheriff resigns after more than 30 years in law enforcement. Article by Derek Fox of KUTV out in Utah. We have the following. Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby submitted his resignation and announced his retirement late last week. Washington County leaders said Brooksby officially tendered his resignation on Friday, March 27th. He ended his career with over 30 years in law enforcement. Quote, we express our sincere appreciation for his dedication and service to Washington County. Under Sheriff Barry Golding is expected to take over as acting Washington County Sheriff while county officials start the process to fill a midterm vacancy. The county said more information on how the vacancy would be filled will be forthcoming. In the meantime, county leaders assured residents that it would remain fully operational and focused on serving the community. Now, you might ask yourself the question, hey, who is this guy? This is the sheriff that held office while Tyler Robinson was arrested. and he's about to retire before the trial starts. Now, does he have the right to retire? Sure. The timing just seems a little bit strange to me. You got a kid on trial for his life, literally. Okay. Literally. If Tyler Robinson is found guilty, he's going to be executed. Okay. And again, do I know all the ins and outs of this story? No, but the timing just seems a little bit odd. Really? You're going to retire on the eve of the biggest case that you'll probably be involved in your law enforcement career, and just you're getting out of Dodge. Well, just a little bit. I don't know. Anyway, all right. One more story, and we're going to get out of here. Give you guys an early night. Supreme Court handed down a pretty big ruling today, and people are gonna talk about it for what I feel are all the wrong reasons. Well, yeah, I mean, he's got his 30 years in. I mean, the guy's got the right to his gold watch. But like I said, the fact that he's retiring now, right on the verge of the Tyler Robinson trial, just seems a little bit odd to me. I'd figure he'd want to see that one through and then hang it up. But, his job is to arrest him, not necessarily to prosecute him. So I can kind of see that side of it too. Anyway, Supreme Court handed down a pretty big decision today, and people are going to focus on one aspect of it. I want to look at something else. From thehill.com, Supreme Court rules for Christian counselor in conversion therapy ban case. Article by Zach Schoenfeld. We got the following. The Supreme Court sided with a Christian counselor on Tuesday in her free speech challenge to Colorado's ban on counselors attempting to change a minor's sexual orientation or gender identity. Justice Neil Gorsuch, writing for the 8-1 majority, said lower courts use too lenient a standard in upholding the ban. The law regulates counselors' speech in an attempt to silence a certain viewpoint, Gorsuch wrote. Fortunately, that is not the world the First Amendment envisions for us, the justice wrote. The court's decision is poised to have ripple effects across the country, with more than 20 states having enacted similar measures. But two of the court's liberal justices, Elena Kagan and Sonia Sotomayor, signaled that states that write more tailored laws could still prevail. The court's other liberal justice dissented alone. Quote, to do anything else opens a dangerous can of worms, Jackson wrote. It threatens to impair the state's abilities to regulate the provision of medical care in any respect. It extends the Constitution into uncharted territory in an utterly irrational fashion, and it ultimately risks grave harm to America's health and well-being. Passed in 2019, Colorado's ban prohibits licensed mental health counselors from engaging in, quote, any practice or treatment that, quote, attempts or purports to change a minor's sexual orientation or gender identity. Critics have described it as, quote, conversion therapy. Violations can carry a $5,000 fine, and counselors can be suspended and stripped of their license. Now, as you might expect, I mean, a lot of people are going to focus on the question of, what is this going to do, on the whole question of, children, sex change operations, gender identity, what's it going to do to the gay and lesbian community? What will it do in this area, that area? There's one aspect of this that I think, I won't say a lot of people, I think some people are just overlooking. To me, this case is not about, conversion therapy or what have you. No, it's about free speech. And to me, I think Gorsuch is absolutely right. Just because you don't like a particular point of view does not mean that the law should be used to silence that point of view. I mean, to me, this one's a pretty straightforward. This one shouldn't be that hard for anybody. I mean, lay aside the question of whether you think counseling a minor, against going through with a sex change operation is right, wrong, or otherwise. What about the right to be able to hold that opinion? What about the right to be able to express that opinion? Colorado went out of its way. Okay. Colorado enacted into law, and the governor signed off on it, legislation that prohibits even the discussion of whether or not someone should or should not go through a sex change operation, particularly if they're a minor. I'm sorry, call me old fashioned if you wish, but right, wrong, or otherwise, you should be able to express your opinion on that matter without the fear that the government's going to fine you $5,000 or put you in jail. Yeah, and WWG1, you bring up an absolutely great point. Minors cannot give consent. Practically or legally, they cannot give their consent. That is why contract law recognizes that the age of 18 is age of consent. You know, lemon pound cake, free speech. Yeah. I mean, like I said, everyone's going to focus on the question of what does this do to, the whole question of, gender reassignment and minors and everything else. No. The bigger issue is this: free speech. Should you be allowed to have an opinion that the state disagrees with and be able to express it? Thankfully, in this case, the Supreme Court said, yeah, you may not like someone's opinion about so-called conversion therapy, but if they want to hold that opinion, that's up to them, and we're not going to fine them money if they give counsel on the matter with an opinion that somebody else doesn't like. So good on the Supreme Court. Happy for them. All right. Let's go ahead and bring this train into the station. It's about 20 minutes after 8. We're going to let you guys have the rest of your night. I want to thank you guys for stopping by this evening, and we will be back to, Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Thursday night at 7, we will be back to do this all over again. And yes, so go out, enjoy the rest of your evening, have some fun. Again, much thanks to WWG1, TBA, everybody who's contributing the memes. As always, they're funny as all get out. And thank you guys, as always. Thank you guys, as always, for the chat, for the liveliness of it, for your opinions and everything else. Yeah, this is gonna be really interesting. And before we get out of here, the professor has weighed in. I'm curious to see how other cases play out. Some states have laws that were in reaction to, quote, gay conversion camps, where kids were sent to a camp for their sexuality to be changed, etc. There's bound to be similar challenges to bans and others. Oh, yeah, I absolutely agree with you, Christian. I think the Hill article is absolutely right. This is going to have some ripple effects all throughout the states, because there's laws on the books in about probably 20, 25 states right now. So, yeah, let's see how all this shakes out. This is going to get real interesting. Anyway, we're going to be back this Thursday night, April the 2nd at 7 o'clock. If you've got the ability to do it, stop on by, before you head off to enjoy your Easter weekend or Passover weekend, depending on your situations. And as always, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Thanks for being here tonight, guys. I love you. We'll see you Thursday night at 7. Bye-bye.